Hey there my lovelies, and welcome to my BookTube channel, The Sassy Library Fox. My name is V, and today I'm finally going for my September wrap-up video. I didn't read a lot of books in September. I was kind of in a reading slump, life-induced, because our kid went back to school, to a new one at that, so everything started anew and we had to find our footing in the new school. But also I had a lot of things to do at work. I organized 2 trips for our employees and those kept me really busy. I was with one of them and yeah, I was busy. September was a very busy month. Anyway, I didn't have any time to record any videos. I'm so far behind on everything. But here's to hope that Rainbowween and October will help me to get back into the swing of things, because I'm very ready to dive into all those queer horror books, as you all know. So this is definitely going to help. I'll hopefully read a couple of books in October. Anyway, back to September. In September, I only managed to read 3 books. One of them was a novella, so yeah, I didn't get a very high page count. I think for the first time in months, years, I was reading less than 1,000 pages in a month. Oops. Anyway, I got my coffee at the ready and I'm going to talk about the 3 books I actually read in September. And quite honestly, the first book I read in September also turned out to be one of my absolute favorites of the year. I can't emphasize this enough, because I read Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. And this book was so good. Honestly, 5 paws and even more, about a gazillion million paws for this one, because it was amazing. I'm still thinking about it now and I don't get it out of my head. As CG would say, the forest is inside of me now and I can't get rid of it anymore. Anyway, what is the book about? It's basically about Thomas and Andrew. And Thomas and Andrew go to a private school with Andrew's twin sister Dove. And they've been friends for years now, and they don't really like to go to school, but they have their routines, and as long as Thomas and Andrew and Dove are together, everything is fine. But after this summer, things changed. Thomas came back from his parents' home with bloodstains on his sleeve, and he's behaving very strangely, and Andrew doesn't know what happened to him and his parents. They have gone missing. Everything very sus, if you ask me. But then Dove doesn't want to talk with Thomas because they had a falling out this summer, or at the beginning of the summer, and apparently this falling out still continues. So one night Andrew follows Thomas into the woods, and oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Thomas likes to draw monsters and Andrew loves to write stories about monsters, so that's why they work so fine together. And apparently the monsters of Thomas' drawings became alive. And he's battling them every night in the woods, which explains a lot to Andrew. And Andrew decides to help him because he feels partly responsible, because Thomas' drawings all based on his stories, horror stories at that. And yeah, while they battle the monsters of the woods that want to take over the school, their feelings for each other grow more intense. And yeah, the closer they get, the farther away Dove gets, so there's that. And I don't want to spoil anything here, but this book was mind-blowing, to say it like that. I wrote a full, super long review about it, with all my thoughts about the ending and the entire story. Honestly, it turned into an almost 5,000 words review, because I had so many thoughts and feelings and I needed to get them off my chest. The interesting thing is I had a very different approach than most of the other people and their theories. Yeah. I think I might need to insert a spoilery part here, because I just need to talk about it. So if you haven't read the book, stop here, stop now, because you don't want to be spoiled. You want to experience this book for yourself and build your own theories before you watch this spoiler section. This is the fair warning you get. Okay, and here goes nothing, here comes the spoiler. The ending. The ending threw me for a loop, because I mean, I always suspected that Dove was dead. I suspected that from the moment her father ignored her in the car. Quite honestly, when he brought Andrew to the school. But the interesting thing is that a lot of people think that Thomas was guilty of the deaths at the school. They think he killed Bryce, they think he killed his own parents, and they also think that he was responsible for Clement's death, which is baffling to me, because my theory is an entirely different one. I don't think Thomas killed those people. I think the monsters were real and it was all Andrew's doing, because at the beginning of the book we have a quote where it explicitly tells that Andrew would kill for Thomas. So knowing and assuming that he feels still guilty about Dove's death, and that he secretly thinks, or his mind at least thinks, that Thomas is responsible for Dove's death, my personal opinion is that at the one hand Andrew wanted to protect Thomas, but at the other hand he also wanted to kind of punish him. Their love and relationship is totally toxic. So I think in some way killing off Thomas' parents was on the one side to help Thomas, and on the other to kind of get revenge for Dove's death. And then Bryce gets killed, who always attacks Thomas and Andrew, and Clemens as well. So at the end, we also find out that it was Andrew's doing. They burned all of Thomas' art, they destroyed everything, and the monsters are still here. And there comes the realization, it was all Andrew's doing, and the monsters are his creation. So I personally think that it was all Andrew, and that Thomas is actually, I wouldn't say the victim, but honestly such a tragic and poor misunderstood soul, because he wasn't responsible for anything. I believe that it was really an accident and that Dove died falling down the tree because Thomas wasn't there, because they had that falling out before. And so I think Thomas is the most tragic person in the entire book, because he loves Andrew so much. He loves his demons. He loves everything about Andrew so much that he would literally die for him. And as for the ending, I have a very dark theory about that ending. I don't want it to be the truth, but unless CG tells us the real ending and doesn't leave it that open, I will always think that this theory is right. I'm going to write that huge review on my blog soon, and I'm also going to put it on Goodreads. I think my blog will have the entire review, so you can read my theory about the ending over there if you want to, and if you want really dive very deep into all the things that make this book. It's a very, very deep dive. But yeah, I think Thomas is a very tragic MC. That's the bottom line of everything. Okay, I will make sure to put the link down in the description box below so that you can read the review on my blog, because this one is really going into detail. I might have to cut my Goodreads review into half because it's too long. So you're going to get the hot tea in my review on my blog. Just saying. Okay, so this book got all the pause from me. It was amazing. It was mind-blowing. I'm still reeling from that ending, and the forest won't leave me anytime soon. Thank you, C.G. Drews, for adding to my personal trauma. Okay, anyway, let's head to the second book I read in September. I'm gonna take a sip here. And the second book I read was Ahhh by Axie Oh, which is a total contrast program to the book I just spoke about. And I rated it with 4 paws because it was a nice read. It was really great. It's the sequel to XOXO, and this time around we get the story of Sorry and of Nathaniel. And it's sort of a second chance romance, you might say, because they were a couple 2 years ago and then broke up because their careers didn't allow it. They just started and they had to make the difficult decision to stay single in order to make it to fame. So yeah, they might have stopped their relationship, but their feelings certainly didn't stop. And 2 years after their breakup, Sorry still has feelings for Nathaniel. We get the entire book from Sorry's perspective, and she is still very much in love with him. And well, Sorry is asked to debut with the new band Ahhh and declines, and asks her mother if she can prove that she can do another job than being an idol in public. And her mother agrees, with the one condition that she coaches one of the new members of Ahhh. So Sorry decides to do that, and she's actually a pretty good coach if you ask me. And well, then Nathaniel kind of goes through a scandal because there is taken a picture of Sorry and him, and rumors start, and people think that it would be her, but then he decides to let his manager tell the press that it was his sister who recently came to Seoul. So because the girl is just from the back, no one knows it's actually Sorry. They believe the story, but because of that, reporters kind of appear at his apartment and want to ask his sister and him about 1,000 of questions. And Nathaniel doesn't like that, so Sorry offers him to stay with her in her guest bedroom because her mom is never home. And the only person who still knows about them is the housekeeper, and she decided to keep that secret because she wants Sorry's happiness. So yeah, there's that. Feelings come back. Feelings are hurt. Romances happen. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it was a really nice read. One of the moments where they were working on a variety TV show totally reminded me of BTS and Run. Because it was it was so hilarious just to read about it. It made me remember all the BTS Run episodes. I binged so much, and I missed them. They were so much fun. But yeah, it was really nice to dive into the life of a K-pop idol and to see it from their perspective. I really like that one. Also, we get a lot of Korean culture, which is always nice. And of course, the love story between Nathaniel and Sori. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one. It was a nice read and really, really quite the contrast program to Don't Let the Forest In. But I needed that after reading Don't Let the Forest In, so that was perfect. Okay, and now to the third book I read in September, and it was Spectacular by Stephanie Garber. I rated it 3+ because my sister already warned me that this might not be the story I am expecting, and she was right. Yes, big sis, you were right. You can write it on your chimney now. And put a flag there. I just admitted that you were right. But I expected a Christmas-themed holiday novella with cutesy feelings and all that stuff, because in the blurb it said that Tella is looking for the perfect present for Legend, and Legend really doesn't like the holidays, so she wants to gift him something really good, and yeah, goes on a journey to find that. But then, I don't know, the mood of this book was kind of off. I mean, if you consider that Tella is what, like 17 or so, she's very young. And this took a really strange turn. Yeah, I mean, Legend is, I honestly don't know how old Legend is, but he is at least 100 years old. 200, 300, 400, I don't know. He's been around for a very long time. He's actually an old man despite looking so young. And I honestly, I had some problems with the thing, or with the way the story turned out, and this is going to be another spoiler section, so I'm sorry. If you still haven't read the novella, close your eyes, continue to click to the ending, I don't know. But I'm going to spoil here now. Spoiler alert. I mean, Tella is still very young, and then she goes on this quest to find a present for Legend, the perfect present at that, and kind of comes into the clutches of an imposter Legend. And she dresses up in lingerie to find out and to participate in that casting the imposter Legend is doing. And it's all very sexy, and then she gets caught and brought to his chamber, and he basically touches her against her will, and she doesn't know if it's Legend or not. And quite honestly, at the ending, it's even implied that up to a certain point, she didn't know if it was really her Legend, or if it was still the imposter, or if the imposter was not her real Legend. So she wasn't sure who touched her like that, and yeah, with a blindfold, all very kinky if you ask me. So, I don't know, it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, because on the one hand, Tella is totally giving into that stranger's advances. She believes him to be an imposter, but she still allows him to touch her like that. She wasn't sure it was Legend. Yeah. And Legend touching her like that and making that entire rouse, as a show of affection, honestly, yeah, that's basically the way I ended the book. I was like, so I don't get it. It didn't emphasize the love between those two. Quite honestly, it totally made me question their love for each other. If you get the idea. I mean, her just willingly throwing herself into the arms of an imposture legend, even though she doesn't know if it's her real one or not, and him just going with it. I mean, come on, this is your kind of kinky love language? I don't get it. Not what I expected. Definitely not. My sister is definitely agreeing with me, I know. I know you are. So yeah, this is the end of the spoiler part. I would really love to hear your thoughts if you've read this short novella and what you thought about it. Because for me, it certainly didn't hit the mark it should have hit. Just to say it like that. And yeah, not my cup of tea. Totally the wrong direction in which I wanted this to go. Not very fluffy. Yeah, not my cup of tea. 3 paws, and I stand by that one. So yeah, there's that. And I think we're already at the ending of my video. Those were the 3 books I managed to read in September. Not a lot, but still something. I enjoyed most of them. And if you've read them, I would love to hear your thoughts about them. If you enjoyed them, if you didn't, what you thought about Don't Let the First In if you've read it. Honestly, I would love to hear your theory about the ending. I need input from other readers here. I need to know if my theory is totally off the charts or if it's actually something that could be real. So yeah, please give me some input if you've read the book. And yeah, I know this one is going to haunt me like Sadie. Sadie is still haunting me to this day. The ending of Sadie. I still think about this book a lot. Okay, anyway, enough of that. We're at the ending of my video and there's really nothing left to say except of take care, stay healthy and safe, and see you around the next time. Bye!